Yeah, I just want to say, look, we are committed at the corporate level, the brokerage level here at LPT to giving you an unfair advantage in any market, right? That's the hot market, that's the cold market, that's the hot buying season, that's the slow buying season. And so a few things that you can do right now. One, know that you are in the best place to ride out and survive any ups and downs. We have models at your choice that can put more money in your pocket. If you go into a slow time of year and you need to change your plan to put more money in your pocket, that's what LPT was built for, to give you the choice as an entrepreneur to control your business. And so you're in the absolute best place to ride out any storm and any waves here at LPT.
Hey guys, welcome to the newest episode of Behind the Scenes with LPT Realty, where AJ and I take you behind the scenes with our founder and CEO, Mr. Robert Palmer, as he goes through a lot of incredible detail with us every single Monday. And we're here to bring you guys the highlights. So one, you can see what it is we talk about here at LPT Realty, and then learn more about the real estate market, the mortgage industry, what's happening out there in the economics of this country that are affecting the business that we have, as well as bringing you guys some really cool updates about what we're doing here right at LPT Realty. Excited to go through this with you. We've got some really cool things we want to touch on today. My name is Mark Ammons.
I'm AJ Ackerman.
And we are Elevated Agents.
Welcome back, guys. This is one of my favorite videos that we do. I'm excited for Robert to share with you guys some insights, some tips on what to do. And the first thing that we talk about today is Q4 planning. Right now, we are in October. We're already in Q4. You should have already planned. But listen, it's never too late to get started. It is imperative as a real estate agent to be focused on what you're doing now to create momentum for next year. Your year does not start in January, friends. It starts right now. And I love that Robert goes into explaining how to start planning for Q4, how to look at it, and how LPT's looking at it. So we're going to go ahead and let RP take it from here. We'll see you back in a second.
But yeah, so let's jump right in. I want to talk up kind of about Q4 planning. So I know that right now we are seeing a different environment than we've been used to seeing than the last couple of years. When you think about what was happening during kind of like the pandemic time frame, there was a lot of business to go around, and we had a different problem, right? Maybe you couldn't get buyers into homes because you were constantly writing offers, but you were busy and you felt like you were moving, and so you just had to, the Kodak was, hey, I just got to get buyers into the house. So I just got to beat other people multiple offers. And so right now we're kind of getting to an environment where things are shifting, and it's maybe not as clear as what we should be doing. And I know there's, it's a cyclical business, so we're always getting to the time of year in fourth quarter where things are going to slow down kind of naturally just to follow that cycle. But that's also exacerbated by this higher interest rate market. And that can be really demoralizing for some people who are out there working really hard, doing the same that they were doing before, and maybe not getting the result that they want, or maybe falling behind their goals, or behind their bills, or whatever that may look like. And so I know that you've built a ton of businesses, and it always is not just a straight line. Everything that you do works perfectly. So what do you do when you're working really hard, you're putting all this effort, and you're not getting the results that you're looking for?
Yeah, look, I think it goes back to this concept that I talk about a lot. When you're in the boom, you need to be preparing for the next bust. And when you're in the bust, you have to realize that you are preparing for the next boom. And so what happens is when you're in that bust period, and look, and bust, bust does not mean the bottom is falling out. Bust does not mean 2008, but bust does mean that we are down significantly, down in the 4 million annual transaction range from 6 at the peak. I mean, it's pretty dramatic, and we don't know how Q4 is gonna turn out. But the work you do today is setting you up for success when things do turn around. And as you mentioned, this is a cyclical business. Things will turn around by season. Things will turn around as the market improves overall. And then, yeah, right now we've got this extra crazy dynamic of interest rates that really robbed some of the Q3 success from us that we should have seen. So we had a really great Q2. April, May, June, really it started in March. March, April, May, June were great months for the industry as a whole. A lot of big real estate brokerages put up profits. A lot of agents kind of felt like, oh, we're out of it. And unfortunately, a lot of that had to do with the combination of our seasonal peak with also what were the lowest interest rates we had seen in a good long while. I mean, in a full year. And so Q2 was fantastic. We saw a lot of transactions close March, April, May, June. And I think a lot of people got a false sense of maybe we're through it. And the things you did in January and February that didn't feel like they were working, and go ahead and go back to November and December of 2022 that felt like they weren't working, all of a sudden everything was working again in March, April, May, and June. And that is the difficulty of this business, because there are so many external forces. You can do everything right and things can still not give you the result you expect or deserve. On the flip side, you can do everything wrong and you can still do pretty good in a period of time like March, April, May, and June, or like 2021 and 2020. And so what we have to realize is that we have to be focused enough and committed enough and zoom out and take the bigger look at the bigger picture to say, you know what I'm doing today isn't going to turn into transactions today. It's not going to turn into transactions tomorrow, but I know it is going to turn into transactions over time. And the more work and the more effort I put out today, the more results I'm going to see when things do turn around, when things do get better. And that's one of the hardest parts of this business. That is the number one reason why we have such a high failure rate in real estate. A lot of people point to, oh, it's lack of commitment, it's lack of this, it's lack of that. It's honestly a lack of understanding of the result to effort conundrum, or the result to effort ratio and reward time in our business. Because
That's right.
in months that are great, in March, April, May, June, you can do something and it feels like it worked right then. And then all of a sudden this year, in particular with rates going up, all of a sudden July, August, September, those same efforts stopped working. Well, it doesn't mean the effort's any less effective. It just means the market has turned on us. The market has turned against us. And so now we're going into a Q4. I feel like this is going to be one of the most dangerous Q4s we've seen as an industry, because, again, a lot of people felt like because of Q2 results, they were going to be okay. Now we're going into what is traditionally a slower time of year, combined with what are extremely high interest rates. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, guys. Like, I feel like I am kind of an expert on this whole interest rate game. I did not see rates getting as high as they did. You know, I felt like we peaked and we're ready to come down the other side. And we've had one too many good jobs reports. We've had one too many hot inflation reports, and the Fed has now indicated this high rate nightmare that we're all living in is going to last even longer than we all thought. Now, look, that can change on a dime. If the next month's jobs report comes in abysmal, then things will turn around, but we're just not seeing that happen. We're not seeing the housing market crack. And so we're going now into what is a slow time of year, at a time when rates are at a new level of high. Inventory is more constricted than ever. The builders are running out of levers to pull. They've been really good at pulling levers to keep things moving upward. They're starting to run out of levers to pull. And so my advice is, and I've had this conversation with a lot of agents offline, you know, be ready for a rough Q4. Keep your head down, do the things that you need to do, stay committed, stay focused. Get out there and hold your open houses and recognize those are going to be March closings. Get out there and door knock your neighborhoods, pass out your door hangers and flyers, buy one of the amazing 7 homebuyer strategies prospecting packs, or 9 critical question prospecting packs, where we have your face on that magazine, on the door hanger, but recognize those efforts are going to come a little bit later. And now I know there are pockets of the country where there's different dynamics. We've got the snowbird effect down here in Florida in certain places, but when we look at the market overall, this is a real scenario. And even in markets with snowbirds, we still have people who live there, people who work there year round, and they are not making moves right now. So just keep your head down. Realize that the work you put in today, the door hangers you put out, the open houses you hold, you are preparing for what should be a banner March. And that's hard to say because we're sitting here in October, and it's really hard to commit yourself and to have the discipline to say, I'm going to do it today because I recognize it's going to set me up for record success in March, April, May, June, and next year. And you will see some success today. Like, don't get me wrong. There are, like, we don't have a single month where no one buys a house. But when you look at the overall macro environment, we're going into a slower period. Stay focused and stay committed, and keep yourself attached to the ultimate goal, which is the win that you're going to see in March. And then that's how I think about it. The things we are doing today is to set us up for the next win. I'll tell you, last year, and I'm going to take this out to the macro LPT level, our transaction count as a brokerage doubled between February and March of this year. All right. We were seeing agent count grow dramatically all through October, November, December, January, and February. We probably tripled the size of the brokerage, at least double the size of the brokerage through that window of time. But the transaction count stayed flat. And then all of a sudden in March, the transaction count doubled. All right. And then we doubled the transaction count. And now we've seen good little step ups ever since then. We closed almost 1,800 transactions last month, new record. We continue to get larger each and every month and grow, but we are fighting these cyclical headwinds. When we look at the overall market in September, it was down. You know, we went down June, July, August was a slight tick up. August to September, big step down. LPT is going up each and every month. That's because we are growing at such a rapid pace on the agent count side, but we can't miss the fact that we are fighting the headwinds of the overall economy. Does that mean what we're doing isn't working? No. Does that mean we're suddenly attracting agents who aren't going to close deals? No. It means that the overall market has slowed, and the fact that we are still outperforming it is massive. And it's easy for me to see that in our data because the numbers are so big. I need you to believe it in your business, because while your business is a little more up and down, right? You can have good months, bad months. It's harder to smooth out the data when you're a solo agent or a smaller team. But believe me, when you zoom out to that macro level, the work you are doing today is 100% preparing you to win in March of next year. Because guess what? When LPT's overall business doubles from February to March, that means every one of our agents did more deals and had a better month in March than they did in February. And those efforts start with what you're doing right now today as we go from October. Because look, we're sitting here at October 16th. The customers you talk to today, you're now getting into, they're probably going to be looking at houses through the month of November. They're going to take a break around Thanksgiving. They're going to take a break around mid-December through the end of the year for the holidays. But you have to put in the work, build those connections, and use that time to go meet people in your community, make yourself known, put out that printed collateral, use all of these tools and weapons that we've given you to make you show up like no other agent in your market, but show up now so that when March hits, you're the easy decision for those customers to make.
That's right, man. I think that's where a lot of people miss. They want to put in the effort when things are easy to spot. Hey, listen, I know it's going to be busy during the summer. I'm going to put in the effort. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to be visible. There's a lot of activity. But really, the people who are transacting in that period of time have already made their decisions in the weeks and months before that. And so, again, when everyone pulls back, when the market starts to slow down, like I know I see way less advertisement in my inbox and my mailbox at home right now, just because that seems to happen every single year. And then around March, it seems to kind of like start. And I always think about how backwards that is. You know, I want to advertise when no one's advertising. I want to be top of mind right now so that when you do see this unlock in March, that's kind of the time frame that you're angling, you know, people are thinking about you. And, you know, you have to also think, not only are we going to have this cyclical slowdown that we have every single year, but you've got all these people who are genuinely trapped inside of their home because of the, you know, the higher rate interest rate market, right, that we're in right now. And at some point that will start to unlock, or it will become to a point where they say, hey, listen, I would love to be able to have a different interest rate, but I've got to make my move. And so what we've eliminated right now are the preference people. Hey, I would like to move up because I want to. And the people who still have to move will do that. But at some point, the people who want to move will still do that. And that may happen, you know, around, you know, end of Q1 of next year, maybe Q2. And again, this is just speculation, but it is a psychology kind of unlock. As you start to see people get used to this environment, they realize it's not going, they start to make decisions in the environment. They're not going to hold off forever. And you got to be ready and top of mind when that happens. So I love that concept.
All right, guys, I hope you got some really valuable information out of that. Again, we all know we're in a very different market. And as Robert talked about, we're down to 4 million transactions per year from 6 million. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that are changing between interest rates, between reduced transactions. There's a lot that we all have to kind of navigate and deal with here in the industry. And the agents out there that I think will win are the ones who are, one, tuning into this type of information, that are just being made aware, because there's a lot of people that may have their head in the sand and they kind of don't want to admit that we are in this changing environment. And, you know, the first step to recovery is admitting that there's a problem. So just understanding the market dynamics that are going on, understanding what's happening with interest rates, with overall transactions, and understanding, like Robert said, that just because you're not seeing the results for the work that you're putting in today does not mean that there won't be results. And I think that was the biggest thing that I took away, is just understanding that the market that we're in is going to require a much higher degree of delayed gratification. You know, 2 years ago, you could throw a rock at a wall and get a contract. And we're just not in that market right now. And we're kind of going back into more of what's a normal market. And so we haven't seen one of those in a while, and it just requires a little different approach and mindset. And so hopefully you guys took a lot away from Robert's tips on kind of how to deal with this. And again, just understanding that if you do the right actions today, come January, February, March, April, May, the results that you're getting then are going to be from the actions that you're taking today. And so if you want to see those results in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you got to start taking those actions today, because we're just in one of these times where it just takes longer to see the fruits of your labor. But if you stay consistent, if you keep putting it out there, when the market does turn and when things do start to open back up, you're going to be so well positioned relative to the people who just kind of threw in the towel and haven't been doing these things. So super valuable. And I appreciate Robert for going into that. The next thing we want to talk about is something that Robert discusses a lot when it comes to his goal for LPT agents, and that is giving us an unfair advantage. And unfair advantage doesn't mean cheating. It just means making sure that we have an unfair advantage by having tools and resources and products available to us, patented products that no other companies have access to that we have here at LPT Realty. And so knowing that, Robert wants to talk about kind of how we're giving our agents here at LPT Realty an unfair advantage and kind of what goes into that. So hopefully you guys find this insightful. We'll kick it over to Robert.
Yeah, I just want to say, look, we are committed at the corporate level, the brokerage level here at LPT to giving you an unfair advantage in any market, right? That's the hot market, that's the cold market, that's the hot buying season, that's the slow buying season. And so a few things that you can do right now, one, know that you are in the best place to ride out and survive any ups and downs. We have models at your choice that can put more money in your pocket. If you go into a slow time of year and you need to change your plan to put more money in your pocket, that's what LPT was built for, to give you the choice as an entrepreneur to control your business. And so you're in the absolute best place to ride out any storm and any waves here at LPT. And then beyond that, because of our commitment to giving you this unfair advantage through the marketing tools, there are things you can do right now. You can take your sample power pack and you can go show it to 20, 30, 40, 50 people in your sphere who are not going to conduct business right now, but are willing to have a conversation with you. Show them all the amazing tools and weapons that you bring to bear whenever someone does list a home with you, so that you are top of mind when the first of the year comes back around. Get one of those prospecting packs. Put your face on that 9 Critical Questions magazine superimposed on the jumbo door hanger. That's probably one of the most powerful marketing tools we have, is that jumbo door hanger with the 9 Critical Questions magazine on the front of it, or the 7 Home Buyer Strategies magazine on the front of it. Get out there and put those into neighborhoods and be consistent with it. Let that home seller see your face on that door hanger in October, in November, in December, again in January, and be the decision they make when February and March start to roll around and people get back into that decision-making process. Do the work right now. Utilize the tools that we have for you. And that's the 2 most powerful things you can do at a period of time like this. Give your presentations. Take those active marketing plan magazines, take that listing power tools sample power pack, and show it to as many people as you can, because you will turn them into ambassadors who will then spread your message and spread the amazing system you have to their friends and family and their neighbors. Double down on your open houses. Why? This is another great opportunity to give presentations to people who are not already in your sphere. Whenever someone comes through an open house, if you're slow and there's nobody in there, you now have an opportunity to give them a presentation on the active marketing plan and the listing power tool sample pack. And one of the big things I want you to kind of get out of the habit of saying is, well, if I'm holding an open house, I'm looking for buyers, I'm only going to take the 7 Home Buyer Strategies. No, most of those people, 70% of them have a house to sell. And particularly if they're wandering around neighborhoods at open houses, they probably live in that neighborhood, which means you're probably not at an apartment complex, which means they probably are a homeowner. So an open house is a great way to give a presentation on both your seller services and your buyer services. That 7 Home Buyer Strategy jumbo door hanger in the prospecting pack, put that on homeowners' doors too, because when they decide to sell that house, they're going to have to buy a new one. And the number one reason they don't want to buy a new one and sell that one is because they think the payment is going to be too high. We arm you with the tools to show them how to get a lower payment in any market environment, which is going to help them be willing to list their house. So get out there, give those presentations, get the collateral. The collateral marketing system is the most powerful marketing system in all of real estate right now, and it is exclusive exclusively available to you as LPT agents. Yes, listing power tools is one small piece of that, but the entire the entire collateral marketing system is only available to you here at LPT Realty. Use those tools, get out there, give your presentations, put your face in front of these sellers, give your credibility, give yourself the positioning of being on the magazine, being on the billboards, being all these places that we put you, and set yourself up to win and break records in 2024 as we come out of what will be one of the worst periods in real estate of the foreseeable past.
That's right. Someone said, "Preach! You spitting that fire this morning, man." I love that. Well, we appreciate the passion, man, and it really shows, how you've built your businesses based on these philosophies, and you can see it when you're talking about this. This is really what it takes. It takes about, destroying those self-limiting beliefs, going out there and doing the work when you can't necessarily see the immediate reward, and positioning yourself to win when the market turns. And so, as a testament to all of us, we've seen what you've built, and we're excited to be a part of that mission here with you.
One thing that I want to make sure we make really clear is I want to recap both things that Robert just talked about: Q4 planning, unfair advantage, and what's going on in the market right now. You guys, one of the hardest lessons to learn as a real estate agent is that it's that time and effort. It's that upfront time and effort it's going to take for you to close your first deal or to get to the next level. And so this is something that you don't actually learn until you do it. And that's why it's so challenging. But when you are given this unfair advantage, these tools, these abilities to take your conversion ratio to a whole nother level, it will help you get there faster. And so please, like these Monday motivational videos, the reason that we're doing this is because there's so much power and information here. But if you don't, you can consume it, you can watch it, you can listen to it, but the last stage of change, the last stage of success is that consistent action over a long period of time. I just want to make sure to make that really clear and hopefully just ingrain that into your mind right now. I want you to write it down. Consistency of action over a long period of time. You do something over a long period of time, you will start seeing a result. Based on those results, you can adjust and change and pivot and make adjustments to help you get better ratio or better conversion ratios. So you want to sell more houses, stay more consistent. Now we're going into some of the fun things next. We're going into Emmy nominations, right? We've got somebody called Lawrence K. Bird. There's a guy named John who's behind all of that. It's amazing content. There's a reason that we have Lawrence K. the Bird that is representing LPT, and so I'm really excited for them to share the Emmy Awards that they have going on, and even after that, state announcements. So go ahead and listen to Robert talk about the success that they're having with that.
But one thing I want to kind of turn it over to on a lighter note, recently you were nominated for an Emmy. I didn't even realize that was a thing here for real estate brokerage. So let's see. The nomination was for the Birds campaign, all the Larry Bird commercials for 2022 and 2023 with Robert Palmer and John Powell. So hopefully we bring it home this month. But how is this even happening? Like, we're a real estate brokerage. How are we being nominated for an Emmy?
Yeah, so John Powell, our director of video and creative services, is just an absolute genius. Him and I have worked together for a long time now, and to see these campaigns come to life, and it's just so amazing to see the impact that Larry and the Birds have on our agents, on the consumer, on building this brokerage. And so we took home a number of tellies, which is another award in the industry, but the Emmy is the big one. And so this is the second time we've been collectively nominated for an Emmy. John, myself, and of course Larry and the Birds. We did not win it last time. That was under Listing Power Tools. So that Emmy nomination is now part of LPT Realty as well through Listing Power Tools. So we're now a two-time Emmy nominated brokerage, which is pretty exciting. We're going to find out in December if we win that. I'd love to be an Emmy award-winning real estate brokerage. But look, we do a lot of amazing things here, and it has to do with how we position our agents, how we position the brokerage, how we communicate with consumers. And if you think about the quality of production that we put out as a brokerage, the Desi video with the Birds explaining how our amazing marketing AI system works, the Birds explaining and doing our amazing 2022 to 2023 year-end recap. And we're now working on a total redesign of the entire LPT website to do a better job of highlighting all of this amazing materially amazing videos, the things that we're showing out there at rallies and events, because we do have an amazing look and an amazing polish here at LPT Realty, and so much so that the Emmys recognized it, and again, we've been nominated this year, so really exciting. And these are the little differences here at LPT, and I'll tell you this too. It's interesting. We've seen a lot of LPT copycats start to come up. Companies now trying to combine the 100% commission with rev share, doing this hybrid model. And the first thing I'll say is I respect everyone who tries that more than they respect us. And I'll tell you what that means. When the big guys, the big cloud brokerages looked at us pop up with LPT, they had no respect for what we were doing, and they instantly dismissed us. And that is a mistake that I do not make and will never make as a CEO, because I've been that little disrespected guy that all of a sudden grew a record number of agents in 18 months and accomplished something that had never been done before. And so when a new model does come up, I have a lot of respect for it, to look at it, to respect the entrepreneur for trying to put it together. But at the end of the day, when I see that they totally missed the mark, what I recognize is they didn't respect us either, because they didn't understand what we're really building here. They want to take it and they want to boil LPT down to one little thing and say, oh, well, they're only growing because they have this, or they're only growing because they have that. And what that does is it disrespects me and every one of you on this call, because LPT is so much more than one little thing that they think they're going to pigeonhole us down to. And so when they copy that one little thing, they try to copy the box, they try to copy the rev share model, they miss what we're actually building here and how we all have come together to revolutionize this industry by giving more power and an unfair advantage and choice back to our agents. And you can't accomplish that by taking one little piece of this model. And if they respected us as much as I respect them to actually do the research on who we are here and what we're doing, they would take a different approach. And so whenever I see one of these little copycats pop up, and it is interesting because we have spawned more attempted copycats in 18 months, I think, than most real estate brokerages will spawn in a decade. But look, first thing is, again, I always respect them. I do the deep dive. I take the look, because I'm waiting for the next us to come along, because LPT will have to be ready to pivot and be more respectful of the next us that comes along than the big guys were of us, because that's what will keep us in the lead as we continue to take the lead in this industry. And so when a new model pops up, when a new copycat pops up, when someone takes one of our tools and says they're improving upon it, the first thing I do is take my ego out of it, take myself out of it, take a big step back and say, okay, did they get it right? Did they figure out something here that we missed? Are they doing something better that we now need to adapt to, that we now need to change to make sure that we can keep LPT at the top of the food chain, at the top of the pile, as we continue to grow and revolutionize this industry and empower our agents and give them an unfair advantage? And unfortunately, every time I've done that exercise, the answer has been no. All right. And I am looking for it. Like, I want to see it. I am not above adapting this model to keep up with someone who figures something else out that is better. But what I continue to see is they miss it. And I realize they miss it because they do not respect what we are doing here. They do not believe there's anything special here. They believe there's some little gimmick or there's some little gotcha or whatever it is. They don't respect the actual culture and the talent and all of you believing and caring and coming together and what we are building to achieve what we achieved. And so now these guys believe that anybody can launch a brokerage with our model and grow to 5,000 agents in 18 months. What I'll tell you is, in 18 months from now, we're going to see how much that is not the case as we get up to 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 agents. But it is interesting to me. And so this Emmy nomination is just one more little example of one of the intangibles. Does getting an Emmy make us a better brokerage? No. But is all the things we're doing to be a better brokerage the reason we got noticed by the Emmys? Absolutely. And that's the intangibles here at LPT Realty that will make us the largest real estate company in the country and will make us home to agents who can have the most successful version and the most achievement in their definition of success, right? This is a big principle for us here at LPT. It's not about how I define success. It's not about how Inman defines success. It's not about how Real Trends defines success. It's about how each one of you defines your individual success. And we want to be the catalyst to help you achieve that at the absolute highest level. And that's one of the things these other guys all just keep missing.
That's right, man. I love it, man. I love it. You were definitely, I can tell you had some time with the family. You are rejuvenated and ready to go, man. So we're looking forward to seeing you this evening.
All right, guys, really, really cool information there. It's so neat to be a part of a real estate brokerage that has been nominated for now 2 Emmys, and we will find out in December whether or not we are an Emmy award-winning brokerage. Really cool. It just kind of, again, it just goes to the fact that we do things differently here at LPT Realty. We put out content at a high level. We do a lot of video production at a high level. And again, you guys can probably tell just from these Motivational Monday calls, we take this kind of stuff seriously. We want to make sure that if we're going to do something, we're doing it as well as it can be, and our content creation is certainly no exception for that. And I really loved Robert's breakdown of his view of a lot of the kind of copycat, the newer brokerages that are coming out. And as you see, that's something that we here at LPT Realty embrace and look forward to. Robert is actively looking at all of the new real estate brokerages that are coming out because he knows that eventually someone will figure out a way to come up with something that's kind of close to what we're doing here, and they're going to figure something out that maybe Robert hasn't figured out already. And the amazing thing of being a slower, a faster growing but smaller company like we are is we're nimble. And so when we have the kind of leadership that we have in Robert and have the ability to pivot quickly, this is not this massive ship yet that's very, very, very hard to turn. And so we have a lot of ability to pivot and turn and adapt as the market's changing, as new people are coming up with great ideas that they're implementing in their businesses and that frankly we can use to implement in ours. We've seen a lot of brokerages out there try to implement what we're doing here. They're seeing the results that we're getting, but like Robert said, they're not seeing the same results because they didn't build the same model. And that's the big difference right now is there are a lot of intangibles that we're doing here at LPT Realty that really are the key and really are the magic and the backbone behind what we're doing. And it's not just as simple as saying if we have this comp plan and this comp plan and put them together, we found the formula. That's not the formula. There is a lot more to LPT Realty than simply our hybrid model. That's certainly revolutionary. It's something that hasn't been done before, but as always, when you do something that hasn't been done before, whether it's a 4-minute mile or whether it's creating a brokerage that has this revolutionary compensation structure, someone else will come after you and do the same thing. And so you have to figure out, how do you stay number one? How do you stay on top of your game? How do you make sure that you're still the brokerage that when an agent looks at all of their options, they decide that you are the one that they want to partner with and give their hard-earned commission dollars to in exchange for the value that you're giving them. And I think we have that formula right now, and I just love having a leader in place who's actively looking to see if anyone is doing anything better than us and being humble enough to accept that if someone does, we have no issues adapting and adopting those things to make ourselves better. And that's why I am very cheerful for a bright future for us. Guys, the last section here is something I know everyone waits for every single week. Again, depending on when you're watching this and what kind of stuff you keep up with, you may already know this, but we've got a state announcement that we want to bring you. This is number 6 of 7, so we have one more after this. And so stay tuned. We'll kick it over to Robert and see what state LPT is going to open up in next.
So now we're going to go to our state announcement. Are you ready to kick that off?
I'm ready to announce it. I'm ready to announce a state. I feel like this was maybe like the worst kept secret in all of LPT history. But this fine state will be opening on December 1st. We're now 45 days out from that amazing date. December 1st, we're going to be opening the great state of Michigan.
All right. Love
and we
that.
have 4 weeks of announcements. That is state number 5. This week announcing Michigan opening 12/1. So we've got 2 more weeks coming up of state announcements. So stay tuned. We've got a couple of shockers in there and a couple of maybe less, a couple more obvious ones. And I've always got a couple of surprises up my sleeve. So make sure you tune in for those last 2 state announcements. There's definitely a few things in there that no one's expecting.
Awesome, man. All right, well, we are at time. So any final words for you?
Now, look, guys, go out there and make it a great week. Stay focused, stay committed. I hope you're jacked up on this call. I know I'm jacked up every day for what we're doing here at LPT Realty, and it's exciting to be able to share that with you and help you maybe push through. If you woke up today feeling like this was not going to be your week, look at this amazing sky behind me. I've got great weather where I am today. Feed off this energy that we collectively have as a group. Read through that chat and see how many of your brothers and sisters here at LPT Realty are excited about the business they are building building, excited about their own definition of success, and the fact that we can all win together. I mean, that's one of the amazing things about this industry is we really can all win together. It is a cooperative industry. We work together to help customers transact the largest asset in their lives, their home, and to buy and sell that real estate, and to buy and sell investment properties, and to create wealth. And there's just so much exciting stuff each and every day. So I'm excited about it. I want you to be excited about it. I hope you are. When you get off this call, take some action. Decide what you're going to do for these next 6, 8, 10 weeks to put yourself in position to absolutely crush 2024, because that is how we all win together. So go out there and make it a great week, and we'll see you Friday for Real Estate First Friday, or back here on Monday.
And so, brand new, we're coming to Michigan, super excited. And as we kind of end this video, I also want to give a quick shout out to John Powell. He is the creator of Larry the Bird. He does all kinds of amazing commercials and creation. And I've actually got to hang out with him a little bit in the, I don't know, it's called the Bird Cage. I cannot remember what that room is called, but
Bird's Nest or something like that. It's a really cool area. If you ever watch Real Estate First Fridays with Robert, that's where they film that. That's his dojo.
John's an awesome guy, so super excited to have him as part of this team as well. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope you got some awesome information. Don't forget, be sure if you like this, subscribe below. We're going to be bringing these Monday motivations every single week on top of the other value content that we bring. And once again, also, if you're not with LPT Realty and you're interested in getting these live, if you're interested in partnering with us, or if you're interested in just you have some questions and you want to know a little bit more about how we can best help you grow your business, click below, click above, click over. I'm not sure where Mark's going to put these clicks, but click in, subscribe, schedule a one-on-one Zoom with us. We'd love to meet you, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you on the next one.